Hello, BUSI1301 Intro to Business students. I'm Professor Park. I am here to help you help yourself to be successful. That sounded better in my mind than when I spoke it, but I think you get the idea. I really am here to help you be successful. What I want to talk to you about real quick is stuff in the class. I need you to pay attention to the announcement. I will send you an announcement and probably send you an email too when I post that announcement. If you don't have your emails forwarded to your phone or forwarded to your major account, you can figure out how to do that. It's probably a smart idea because that's online class. That's how we're going to interact a lot of times. Now, in the syllabus, I actually give you my cell phone. Guess what? This is my personal cell phone. Use it with respect. I've never had a problem with people who wanted a good grade. So if you have an issue, you can text me. If you have an issue that is not more than a yes or no, or let me look into it, then I would really rather have you call me. And I know that's not a millennial thing to do, but if I have to text more than 4 or 5 lines of text, I don't want to do it. So it's okay to call me. And that's pretty much 10 in the morning until 10 in the evening. I don't have a problem with you guys reaching out to me because I know a lot of you guys work. So again, don't hesitate. Don't, and if you are a nuisance, I will just flat out tell you, okay, we've talked it up today, but I usually don't have to do that. All right, the orientation start here is just that. I want you to read this. I want you to understand how I think about business and my expectations and the whole 9 yards. Some of the stuff that your orientation test covers is in here. The orientation test really is just to make sure that you've read the orientation, the syllabus, the course scheduler. The syllabus is straightforward. You could print this out. To do that, you click on here and download it and print it out. I would have it so you don't have to go into the class every time you want to look at the syllabus. I'd download it at the very least. But the assignments, there are 7 written assignments, and here are the rubrics as far as 5 points, 5 points, and 10 points, and all that kind of good stuff. They're worth 25 points. All I ask you to do on the written assignments is to think. And I want you to read the chapter that corresponds with the assignments. And I really do want you to read the book. Do you have to read the book really slow and take notes and be philosophical about it? Not really. I'd love you to. I'd love you had the time to, but guess what? This is a summer program, and man, we cover 4 chapters a week. So what I want you to do is skim the chapter to understand what's covered. Then go through, after about 30 minutes, you can take a little rest, then go through and read it as fast as you can and try to gobble it all up as fast as you can. And then I want you to take the Learn Smart quiz after you take another little rest, give your brain a chance to kind of file away what you've read. And between the reading and the Learn Smart quizzes, which are here, you should soak up a bunch of the information in the chapter. What I really want you to do is skim, read as fast as you can, sleep on it, and then take the Learn Smart the next day. Statistically, that's proven that you have 10% more retention after you sleep on something, crazy as it seems. Remember, the Learn Smart is a learning management system, and the reason that I really like it is because it will let you answer questions and learn from the questions, and it's not a test. Learn Smart is a learning system. So when you don't understand something, be honest with the system and tell them, I don't understand that, I have no idea. Then it'll take you read a piece of it and kind of internalize it, and then take another question, and they'll probably roll back to what you read just a few minutes ago in the next couple of questions, just to make sure that you're understanding it. You want to hit 60% comprehension, which is a low bar, by the way. 60% is D, all right? But when you hit 60% comprehension on the main points of the chapter, you get 100 points. So let me make sure that you understand this. For anybody who does not get 100 points on the Learn Smart, I really have a problem with that, because it is set up with a very low bar. All you have to do is put in the time. And it's going to be about 30 to 45 minutes. But guess what? Once you put those 30 to 45 minutes in the Learn Smart, when you go to the chapter quiz, you're prepared much better than if you didn't do the Learn Smart. And the Learn Smart is worth 100 points. If you don't get to the 65, you probably will get 60% comprehension, which is 100 points. If you get less than that, you'll get 75 points on the assignment, and you're cheating yourself out of 25 points. Do not do that. I don't know why last semester I had so many students that just weren't understanding this. So do the Learn Smart until you get 61% comprehension, which would be 100 full points. And you can take the Learn Smart as many times as you want to. You can stop and start it however you need to. But trust me, you've got to do that. All right, course schedule. Don't yell at me about this. This is a summer class. You've got 4 chapters to go through in this week, all right? And I know most people do things on Sunday, but I'm trying to give you a break. So all of our stuff is due on Mondays. Now, I know there's a lot of stuff to do. You got the orientation test, which shouldn't be that hard. And you've got to do your intro, which again, shouldn't be that hard. And you got to do lesson 1, 2, and you have this assignment, which is capitalism versus socialism. And you've got to understand the concepts that are in chapter 2 to answer that question. Again, if you try to answer the question, and I don't think you really haven't put enough time or effort into it, I'm probably going to give you a lower grade and say, hey, you need to rethink this, think about this, and you can repost this up to another 10 points if you get 15 or whatever else. People that give me more than 2 paragraphs, maybe a page and a half or 3/4 of a page, usually do pretty well. If you cite something, make sure it's a good cite. I usually give you an extra point, because I want you to get in that habit of citing things that you've found. And I don't care which type of, I guess it's supposed to be APA, but I really don't care. All I'd like to know is what your source is, so I can click on a link or look at the book and make sure that you're actually not just BSing me. But keep up with the class. What happens if you get to Monday and it's 11 o'clock at night and you haven't got the lesson 4 test done? Guess what? It's not going to lock you out. Just take the test. I'm not going to count off if it's late. If it's a couple of days late, yeah, I'm going to send you a nasty gram and say, what are you doing? How come you haven't taken the test? I'm not really worried about the time frame as long as you're moving forward. But in the second week, if you haven't got to lesson 4, I'm going to try to call you or ask you questions. I really do want to get everybody through the class, and everybody needs to keep up, and I'm going to be on top of you the next couple of weeks to make sure you're keeping up. Okay, we've talked about the schedule, we've talked about the syllabus. Let's talk about lessons 1 real quick. The orientation test is mandatory. You've got to pass it, and you got to get 100 on it. You've got to get all 10 questions, or 5 questions. I can't remember. Is it 10 or 5? Well, I can't tell you right here. You've got to get all of them correct. And if you don't, then you will not be able to see lesson 1, and that's important. You definitely have to do your intro, and I'd rather have a video, so you can make a video like I'm doing now and post it to Blackboard. And most people like to listen to those, see those, because it's more interesting than just a picture and answering a bunch of stuff. You do have to have a picture at the very least if you're going to answer these questions. Excuse me. Okay, I believe that covers a lot of stuff. Oh, how to get access to the book. For some reason, the orientation test is not auto-grading. I think I fixed that. If I didn't, then you're going to have to do the introduction and wait till tomorrow when I see that you've taken the orientation test, because you will not be able to see lesson 1 until you pass the orientation test with 10 out of 10. But let's just say that you are really antsy and you don't see lesson 1, but you see lesson 2. Well, if you want to get into the text, all you need to do is click on chapter 2. It will take you to the text. You put all your information in. Please use your TCC email address or an email address that makes sense so I know who the student is. Some people don't do that, and it makes it impossible to know who you are when I'm looking at grades. So please use an email address that tells me who you are. Prefer my TCC email address would be really nice. Don't give me a wacky email address. But if you click on the assignment, it'll take you to the text. You can sign in, and you can go from chapter 2 to chapter 1 and read it. But what I really want you to do is wait until I grade your stuff. But anywho, that's the workaround. Okay, this is more than I wanted to spend. It's almost 12 minutes, but here's how you can make this a lot more palatable. At the bottom of the screen, there's a sprocket. When you hover over the bottom of the screen, you can click on that sprocket and it will give you the speed that you can adjust. I talk kind of slow. You can probably understand me at 2 times speed, which will get you through half the time on these videos. So I would do that until I say something that you want to slow down. Then you just click on the sprocket again, and you can slow down the video to 1% or 1.5. 1.5 works right for me 90% of the time. All right. I hope you've got a good overview of the class and what I'm looking for. I want you to be successful. I'm not so worried about every little thing like a lot of instructors. I'm worried about you finishing. I'm worried about you understanding the concepts of the book. I'm worried about you asking or answering the questions that I pose to you with some thought and a little bit of questions in your thought process, like, I don't understand this. Why is it a big deal that we do this? I guess if I had to say the reason we do this is you have a dialogue with me when you answer these questions. That's fine with me. The more I see that you put into it, the better your grade's going to be, and you probably get an extra couple of points. Okay, sorry to be so long, but I think it's important that we have an understanding and have a place to start. Welcome to the class, and I look forward to talking with all of you and learning more about you. Take care. Bye.